All right, let's go ahead and wrap up with some Frank Turek. Because, well, I mean, really, what could possibly go wrong? It's Frank Turek. He's so endearing. The first one we have is very tiny because I am bad at my job. There we go. This one is from the robotic kitty. Suris said Magikarp Shapiro, and thus I have made it. The FBI is watching you pee now. Alrighty, the next one we have here is from Clawfer Raven. Ref said Suris couldn't use their red deck. So they used their red deck. Well, everything burns, and it's the witch outfit. Yeah. The next one we have here is from Abalon of Babylon. I'd ask for forgiveness, but I don't want it. I had to make it cursed. It's for Suris. I'm not sorry. I'm never sorry. Apparently, this is a work in progress of a Mewtwo Suris. What has my life become? There's also a Mewtwo fan in my chat. I do not need the repercussions of this. I am scared of the repercussions of this. I am terrified. So anyways, I wanted to say thank you all for your fan art submissions, and if you want your fan art to be shown, you can use the Discord link available on Twitch, and that'll get you a good old entry into the Discord where you can drop it. I want to say that, but I think I want to die instead. Honestly, that's probably a faster way to just I don't need to make money if I'm dead, right? Anyways, that's subscribe, all that other fun stuff. I'm making a lot of inappropriate jokes on a Raid Legends video. Thank you for the sponsorship. My content is cursed. You chose this. There'll be a link in the description if you want to go play a gacha game. Whee! Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Frank Turek's little YouTube short he has here. It's on whether or not homosexuality is a sin. So let's go ahead and begin that.
Do you find homosexuality to be a sin?
Doesn't matter what I find.
All right, cool. Before we get any further, I just want to go ahead and say, Rabbit Ears blog, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Whenever somebody says, well, it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what the Bible says, 'cause that's what he's going to do, right? That's a coward's way out. That's a way of going, you know, I may be homophobic, but I like to pussyfoot around it. Instead of actually talking about my actual homophobia, I'm going to blame it on a book I read once. Yeah, that's just going to win hearts and minds.
Okay, then what do you believe the Bible says?
Homosexual behavior is a sin, not homosexual feelings.
Right, cool. I'm glad he at least agrees that homosexual feelings aren't a sin, but last I checked, homosexual behavior between consenting adults is perfectly fine. I mean, even when you look through the Bible, you don't really find a whole lot of stuff against homosexuality explicitly if you actually, exegete the damn thing properly. There are 3 main passages in the Bible that talk about homosexuality. The first one is in Leviticus, and the part in Leviticus does not necessarily talk about men lying with men. The nomenclature used back then was men lying with males, and males meant young boy. So this was more an anti-pedo thing and less an anti-gay thing. There's no less than 6 other interpretations of the conversation that's in Leviticus in regards to that, but then we move forward to talk about Paul. And I don't know about you, but in Romans, Paul ain't Jesus. Even if I was Christian, I would be hard-pressed to give a shit about what he said over and above the words of Jesus. And, Jesus never said jack shit about gay people. So, awkward that. Secondly, the conversations he has in Romans are just saying that it is very difficult for somebody who is gay to get into heaven. That isn't necessarily saying that being gay is a sin. It's not the same conversation, not the same concept. Sergio says it's not even entirely clear what Paul meant. Yeah, again, tangent, real quick tangent. Can I talk about this weird thing about the Bible? Why is it that more Christians who read the Bible are more concerned with the words of Paul than the words of Jesus? Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the thing Jesus says doesn't make much sense either. He literally was pro-slavery in the Bible. I'm not even kidding. He literally said, slaves, obey your masters. I'm not saying that he was 100% good all the time. I'm saying, why not follow strictly the words of Jesus, your God, as opposed to, Paul? Why is more weight put on the words of Paul than Jesus? Just, from a strictly Christian perspective. Why? That's never made a whole lot of sense to me. Even when I was a Christian, I couldn't really square that particular peg. We're supposed to care more when we are Christians, those of us who grew up that way. We're supposed to care more about the shit in the red lettering than anything else. That's the most important stuff. But, nah. Said slaves obey your masters was Paul. I'm pretty sure slaves obey your masters was also Jesus. I'm pretty certain that's red letter. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Sarah Chikorita, but Paul and Jesus both said to obey your masters, but slaves obey your masters is very much a Jesus quote. But anyway, that's my first little tangent off of this. I love Frank Turek. The most amazing and entertaining things about watching Frank Turek are talking about things that aren't Frank Turek.
We all have attractions we ought not act on, right?
Yeah, that's just, it's bad to, do the pedophilia thing to people. But okay.
There's a difference between attractions and actions.
Okay, cool. I agree with that. Now, can we talk about harm? Being attracted to somebody you ought not be attracted to doesn't cause harm in and of itself, except maybe to you, but acting on the attractions can cause harm. I agree with that part, but let's talk about the harm that's caused. If you are having homosexual relations with a consenting adult, what harm are you actually causing to that adult? Not really any. I mean, if you forget to use lube, maybe a little. Please use lubricant. Water-based is better than oil. Please. Anyway. When we are talking about harm done, we are talking in a utilitarian way. The reason that actions on someone you ought not be attracted to, like, say, a child, are bad is because the child is harmed no matter how you engage in that action. With a consenting adult, no one's really harmed for the most part, outside of, mistakes and mishaps.
I have attractions I ought not act on.
Without context, that's kind of sus.
So to be attracted to someone of the same sex, if you act on that, it's a sin.
That's what the Bible says.
Yay, cowardice again. He's hiding behind his book.
That's what Jesus says. You say, well, Jesus never talked about homosexuality. No, he talked about all sexual immorality, because whenever he used the phrase sexual immorality, that meant any sexual activity outside of the marriage of a man and a woman.
So at least he agrees that Jesus never fucking talked about homosexual sex. And he's the one having to interpret that Jesus is talking about other things there. He's the one that is adding more stuff. Whee!
Fornication, adultery, homosexuality, bestiality, rape, incest, whatever it is.
I love how homosexuality is put on the same pedestal as bestiality and incest and rape. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that great? This is why a lot of people these days do not take conversations like this very seriously, because outside of hiding behind your book, you don't have a really good reason. You, in fact, have no good reason. within the Bible, your reasons are flimsy, but outside of it, you've got nothing. And that's just, I don't know, kind of sad. When you base your entire belief system on a single book that has multiple interpretations and may or may not be correct, I don't know, doesn't leave a whole lot of room for being human. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the conversation below. Shorter video than usual, but it is a video based on a short, so what can you really do? As always, everyone, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, bell notification icon, all that fun shit. Insert end of video tagline here.